Domitian, born Titus Flavius. Domitianus, in 51 CE, was the younger son of the future Emperor Vespasian and his wife Domitilla the Elder. His rise to power, like that of his family, was shaped by the turbulent politics of the 1st century CE, an era marked by the Flavian dynasty's efforts to consolidate power following the chaos of the year of the 4 emperors. Domitian became the 11th emperor of the Roman Empire and ruled from 81 to 96 CE. Domitian was born during the reign of Emperor Claudius, and his early life was spent in the shadow of his more prominent brother Titus, who would go on to become emperor. After the family rose to prominence in 69 CE, when Vespasian secured the throne during the year of the 4 emperors, Domitian and Titus were granted significant political roles. Vespasian became emperor, and Titus became his right-hand man, serving in military campaigns and handling imperial affairs. Domitian, in contrast, did not enjoy the same immediate prominence, though he held various roles, including serving as consul in 71 and 74 CE. Domitian's early career was marked by a sense of overshadowed potential, particularly due to his brother Titus's successes, including his famous role in the siege of Jerusalem in 70 CE. After Titus's death in 81 CE, Domitian, now in his 30s, ascended to the imperial throne without significant opposition, marking the beginning of a reign that would be characterized by both achievements and controversies. Domitian's rule was marked by his ambition to restore the authority and prestige of the imperial office, with a particular focus on maintaining absolute control over the empire. He sought to establish himself as a strong autocrat, a shift from the relatively more collegial nature of the Flavian dynasty under his father and brother. One of Domitian's earliest acts as emperor was to undertake significant administrative and military reforms. He reorganized the provincial governance system, centralizing control in the hands of the emperor. This consolidation of power helped secure his position against potential rivals and reinforced his autocratic rule. Domitian took personal command of the army, frequently visiting military camps and personally overseeing campaigns. Domitian's military engagements were mostly concentrated in the frontier regions, particularly along the Rhine and Danube rivers. His campaigns against the Germanic tribes and in Britain were seen as successful, securing the borders of the empire. These victories were celebrated with grand triumphs and the construction of monumental works, such as the construction of the Flavian Palace on the Palatine Hill in Rome. He also undertook an extensive program of public works, including the completion of the Colosseum, a lasting symbol of the Flavian dynasty. Domitian's reign saw the heightening of the imperial cult, with the emperor presenting himself as a divine figure. He demanded that subjects refer to him as Dominus et Deus, Master and God, a title that signified his elevated status. This insistence on deification, along with his autocratic tendencies, alienated some of the Roman Senate and elite who resented his centralization of power and disregard for traditional republican practices. Despite his efforts to strengthen imperial authority, Domitian's relations with the Senate were strained. He viewed the Senate as a threat to his autocratic rule, and he responded by purging its ranks, executing or exiling many of its members who were suspected of disloyalty or conspiring against him. This created a climate of fear and distrust, contributing to a growing resentment among the Roman elites. Domitian was also a patron of the arts, promoting literature and culture during his reign. He supported writers like the historian Tacitus, the poet Statius, and the philosopher Epictetus. Domitian's sponsorship of public spectacles, games, and festivals was designed to solidify his popularity with the people. These spectacles, including gladiatorial contests and chariot races, were used as tools of social control and as a means of distracting the populace from potential dissatisfaction with his rule. However, Domitian's insistence on personal control and his autocratic tendencies also led to the alienation of important segments of Roman society. His claims to divine status, his management of the imperial cult, and his purges of political opponents began to tarnish his image. This divide between his public works and his increasing suspicion and hostility toward the senatorial class set the stage for his eventual downfall. Domitian's reign was brought to an end in 96 CE when a conspiracy against him, involving members of his court, led to his assassination. The plot was orchestrated by a group of senators, courtiers, and even members of his own household, including his wife, Domitia Longina. The assassins gained access to the emperor during a private event, and Domitian was killed in his palace. His death marked the end of the Flavian dynasty and the beginning of the Nerva Antonine dynasty, which would usher in the period known as the Five Good Emperors. After his death, Domitian's memory was systematically condemned in what was known as the Damnatio Memoriae, an official condemnation of his legacy. His statues were destroyed, his name erased from inscriptions, and his reforms were rolled back. Many ancient historians, such as Tacitus, Suetonius, and Dio Cassius, painted Domitian as a tyrant and a despot, exaggerating the negative aspects of his reign. This negative view of Domitian persisted for centuries, shaping his historical reputation. However, more recent scholarship has attempted to re-evaluate his reign, highlighting his achievements in administration, military defense, and cultural patronage. While his autocratic tendencies and conflicts with the Senate were undeniable, Domitian's efforts to strengthen the imperial structure of Rome and his contributions to public works and the arts are seen by some historians as valuable aspects of his legacy. Domitian's reign as the 11th emperor of Rome is remembered for both its authoritarianism and its accomplishments. While his authoritarianism led to his eventual assassination, his efforts to strengthen the empire through military successes, administrative reforms, and cultural patronage were significant. Domitian's reign, marked by both grand triumphs and deep political conflict, continues to be a subject of historical debate. The complexity of his rule reflects the challenges faced by the Roman Empire as it navigated the demands of imperial power and the preservation of Roman traditions. Though often vilified by ancient historians, Domitian's legacy, when viewed through a more nuanced lens, reveals a ruler deeply committed to the empire's prosperity, even at the cost of personal and political alienation.